So, dear students, in previous video we discussed about the nutrition. We have completed the nutrition. Let's talk about the new life process, that is respiration. So, first of all, we will try to understand the meaning of respiration. So, as all of us know that by nutrition we get the nutrients, and these nutrients are used to generate the energy in our body, and that energy is essential to carry out different life activities. This energy is generated by the process that is called respiration. Right? So try to define respiration. Respiration is the process in which the glucose, which is obtained from the nutrients in form of nutrients, is oxidized, is broken down to generate energy in form of ATP. So let's write. So respiration is nothing but breakdown or oxidation of glucose to generate energy. Energy is generated in form of ATP. ATP is a biomolecule which is commonly known as energy currency. Adenosine triphosphate. This adenosine triphosphate or ATP is the high energy molecule. This is the commonly known as currency of energy, and this is generated during the breakdown or oxidation of the glucose. Now here we are writing oxidation or breakdown. Please remember, this breakdown is enzymatic breakdown. When oxygen is present, oxygen will act as the oxidizing agent and breakdown will be rapid, and there will be more generation of energy. So glucose can be broken down in presence of oxygen, or glucose can be broken down even in the absence of oxygen. So on basis of presence or absence of oxygen, respiration can be divided into two types, that is aerobic respiration and second one we can say this is anaerobic respiration. So when we say aerobic, all of us know that is in presence of oxygen. First point is in presence of oxygen. Oxygen is available, oxygen is present. This is the common way of respiration in most of the plants, animal and microbes. In certain organisms, breakdown of glucose may take place even in absence of oxygen. So here it is absence of O2. So all of us know that when there is a presence of oxygen, there will be rapid breakdown, there will be complete breakdown of the glucose. So here complete breakdown of glucose. Here whatever raw material is there, glucose is the raw material, that will be incompletely broken down. So there is incomplete breakdown. We will understand what is the end product when there is an incomplete breakdown of glucose. Incomplete breakdown of the raw material or glucose, right? So if you relate complete breakdown and incomplete breakdown with the output in sense of the generation of energy, definitely when any molecule is completely oxidized, complete oxidation, complete breakdown, amount of energy generated will be more. So here more energy generated in comparison to that more energy. Here is comparison less energy. So please remember, in anaerobic respiration there is incomplete breakdown of the raw material, so amount of energy generated will be always less in comparison to aerobic respiration, right? Next, let's talk about to understand what is the role of oxygen, how we obtain the oxygen. We know that oxygen is obtained by process called breathing, and different organisms carry out breathing or exchange of gases by different way and means. So if we talk about lower organisms like unicellular organism, like we say amoeba, exchange of gases takes place through the body surface, through the plasma membrane itself, like unicellular organism like amoeba. Okay, so they don't have a specific organ to carry out the exchange of gases. So we know that is by simple diffusion, by the process of simple diffusion and through the body surface or plasma membrane. Then we come to the higher organisms like insects in comparison to the very lower organisms. So they carry out exchange of gases by using spiracles, which are the tiny pores present on the lateral line of the body. Okay, some organisms like earthworm and these use the cuticular respiration. They use the body surface for the respiration. Other have the gills like in aquatic animals, and higher animals have nostrils and there is a presence of lungs. Similarly, when we talk about plants, in case of plants, all of us know, with photosynthesis we have discussed, in plant, exchange of gases, exchange of gases carried out by stomata. So stomata present throughout the plant body. Wherever there is presence of epidermis, there are more abundance of the stomata on the leaves. So these are the tiny pores through which exchange of gases is carried out. Plant also need oxygen in the breakdown of glucose or for the respiration. Okay, most of the oxygen in plant is supplied by the process of photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, oxygen is generated and this oxygen is used for the respiration. Stomata in case of bark or trunk and stems have bark where there is no stomata. Lenticels are the tiny pores present on the bark. These also help in exchange of gases. In case of human, when we talk about, we have well-developed respiratory system, or to exchange the gases we have our respiratory system. So let's try to understand the different parts of our respiratory system. Breathing generally we consider as also known as ventilation, or in another word we say this is nothing but the exchange of gases with the environment. And process involved is the diffusion. This is by the diffusion. This is completely a physical process. In our case also this is a physical process, and this is carried out by our respiratory system, right? So let's look into the different part of respiratory system. We have nostrils. Nostrils open into nasal cavity where presence of mucus and hairs. These mucus and hair help in filtration of air. Dust particle, fiber particle which enter with the air are not allowed to enter in our respiratory tract because there is presence of mucus and fine hairs. Okay, nasal cavity is always remain moist, so this also help in cooling of air which enter in our respiratory tract. Nasal cavity open into a common passage that is called pharynx. The passage toward the nasal cavity is known as nasopharynx, and passage toward the mouth cavity is known as buccalopharynx, and common passage is called pharynx. Windpipe have a flap-like opening. This flap-like opening is called this flap-like protective cartilaginous cover is called apical epiglottis, and opening of windpipe is known as glottis. So there are two words, glottis and epiglottis. This is called glottis. This is the opening of windpipe. This is very important. Opening of windpipe is called glottis. And here you can see there is a word epiglottis. Epiglottis is a flap-like structure. It is a cartilaginous flap which prevent the entry of food. When we swallow the food, that time it prevents the entry of food in our windpipe. Right? So it gets closed when when there is a movement of bolus into the esophagus. Then next we have our windpipe. Technically it is known as trachea. It is a muscular tube extend from the pharynx and enter in our thoracic chamber. Complete trachea is protected by C-shaped cartilaginous rings. So you can see here, even we can feel also there is presence of C-shaped cartilaginous rings. These cartilaginous rings prevent the trachea from collapsing while forceful breathing, inhaling and exhaling. So this is very important. These C-shaped cartilaginous rings are present not only on the trachea, these are present on the further parts like bronchus, bronchioles also. So please remember these C-shaped cartilaginous rings prevent from collapsing. It prevents from collapsing during forceful breathing. Then there is a presence of voice box. That voice box help in generation of voice. That is also present. Along with this, there is presence of thyroid gland also. Trachea divided into two branches. That is, these are called bronchus. Bronchus further divided into bronchioles. The fine tubules are called bronchioles. And at the end of bronchioles, there is presence of very thin membrane sac-like structures. These thin membrane sac-like structures are called alveolus, and there are millions of alveolus are present. These are microscopic structure. These are alveoli, and these are the site of exchange of gases. These fine sac-like structure are surrounded by large number of blood capillaries. Blood capillaries also have single cell thickness. So both are very thin membranes, so that help in exchange of gases from our lungs to the blood capillary or to the blood, right? So increase surface area and helping, this is the site where exchange of gases takes place. Oxygen move from the alveoli to the blood capillaries and carbon dioxide move from the blood capillaries to the alveoli. So these are thin membrane sac-like structures present at the end of the bronchioles. Okay, so bronchioles terminate in the alveolus. They are present as the what we can say bunches. Okay, and they increase the large surface area. The large surface area is essential for exchange of gases. Not only large surface area, these surfaces should be moist. These surfaces should be thin. So these are the certain conditions essential for the place where the exchange of gases takes place. So once again you can remember the surface where exchange takes place should be thin, or thickness should be only single cell thickness, and this should have very large surface area. And one more point we have to add, that is there should be presence of moisture, because the diffusion will takes place only through the moist surface. Then when we talk about protective layer in which our lungs are covered is called pleura. So this is very important to remember, the protective layer, protective cover of our lungs is called pleura. This is very important. That protect our lungs from outer jerk and shocks. Our lungs are protected inside the thoracic chamber, bony chamber, which are covered by the bone, sternum, vertebral column, and there is a presence of muscular septum, a wall between our thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity, that is called diaphragm, and this diaphragm play very important role in mechanism of breathing. So when we look into the mechanism of breathing, as I mentioned, this includes the inhaling, that is also known as inspiration, and that is when we release the gases out, that is called exhaling or expiration. So diaphragm play key role in this process. So to understand this mechanism of breathing, let's observe this activity given here. or this is all the related to volume and pressure. Okay, so air enter inside our body. Air will enter from atmosphere to lungs. When atmospheric pressure is high, relative pressure is high in comparison to our lungs, then definitely air will diffuse into our lungs, and our lungs have higher pressure than the atmosphere, then air will move out. So please remember, two things are very important. This is volume of the thoracic cavity, and second one is the pressure. So if you observe here, if you notice, there is a movement of diaphragm. So let's draw it again, so easily we can understand. So this is the muscle present here, that is the diaphragm, right? So when this diaphragm have ability to move upward and downward. So first of all we talk about, that is inhalation. Inhalation means to intake of air. Okay, this is also known as inspiration, inhalation or inspiration. How inspiration takes place? For inspiration, this diaphragm, this is the normal shape of diaphragm. This diaphragm, normally it is dome shape. Normally diaphragm is dome shape like this. Okay, but when we inhale, diaphragm move downward. So diaphragm move downward. When diaphragm move downward, so here you can see it will come here. Diaphragm move downward, and the sternum and rib cage move forward. Okay, sternum bone move forward. When diaphragm move downward, sternum move forward, what will happen? Very simple, thoracic volume will increase. Thoracic volume increase. So all of you know that when thoracic volume increase, pressure will decrease. Pressure decrease. Thoracic pressure will decrease. Here pressure will decrease. And here pressure will decrease, air will move inside and inhalation takes place. Again, once again we can see diaphragm move downward, sternum and rib move forward. When rib move forward, diaphragm move downward, thoracic volume increase. Volume increase, pressure decrease. When pressure decrease, air will move inside, and that is inhalation. Opposite to it, if we say like this, this is a normal diaphragm. This is a dome shaped thick muscle. Now this diaphragm move upward. Diaphragm move upward, and sternum or rib cage move inward. So due to this movement, what will happen? Thoracic volume decrease. All of us know it move upward like this. Okay, it move inward. What will happen? Thoracic volume decrease. Thoracic volume decrease. Thoracic volume decrease, definitely pressure increase. Pressure increase. Where pressure increase, thoracic pressure increase. Okay, thoracic pressure increase, definitely what will happen? Air will move out. Air come out from the body. So that will lead to exhalation, or that is will lead to expiration. So let's write it in form of flowchart. So when we talk about mechanism of breathing in human, so there are two things happen we have discussed: inspiration, or in other word we can say inhalation. Right? Another one is we say exhalation or expiration. So movement of air inside our lungs is called inspiration. Movement of air out of the lung is called expiration or exhalation. So when inspiration will take place, first thing we have to understand is, first step will be movement. This is very important. Movement of diaphragm. Movement of diaphragm will be downward, that we have discussed. Okay. Movement of diaphragm is downward. Sternum or rib cage outward or forward, that lead to increase in thoracic volume. This is very important. Thoracic volume. So there is an increase in thoracic volume. Increase in thoracic volume lead to decrease in pressure, and when there is decrease in pressure, air move from atmosphere to lungs. Movement of air from atmosphere to lung is called inhalation. Opposite to it, in case of exhalation, in case of expiration, first thing will happen is diaphragm move upward. When diaphragm move upward, all of us know that thoracic volume decrease. Decrease in thoracic volume will lead to high pressure, or in other words we can say pressure will increase. So pressure increase, high pressure or pressure increase, and due to increased pressure, air move out of the lungs, and movement of air out of the lungs called expiration or exhalation. So this is the way how volume and partial pressure play very important role in movement of air. So this is all about how oxygen is taken inside and the carbon dioxide is removed from the body. Next thing we will discuss is how there is breakdown of glucose takes place. Okay, so basically exchange of gases takes place in the lungs in case of human, and main purpose of it is to supply the oxygen. Oxygen is used in breakdown of glucose. Oxygen is transported to the cells by respiratory pigment. That name of pigment already we know, that is the hemoglobin. So hemoglobin pigment, all of you know, this is known as respiratory pigment. Respiratory pigment. This pigment play very important role in transport. So we will again take it during transportation when we will discuss about transportation. Transport of gases, particularly O2. So please remember, this is called respiratory pigment. Like chlorophyll is a photosynthetic pigment, this is respiratory pigment, and this play very important role in transportation of oxygen. So oxygen is transported from atmosphere to the lungs. In alveoli, exchange of gases takes place. From alveoli, oxygen enter in the blood. In the blood there is hemoglobin present on the RBC. RBC with help of hemoglobin carry oxygen to the different part of cell. So in our cells, our tissue also exchange of gases takes place, means oxygen is released in the cells, and in the cell oxygen is used as the oxidizing enzyme to carry out the breakdown of glucose, oxidation of the glucose. So we will this oxidation of glucose in cell, this may be aerobic, anaerobic, considered as cellular respiration. So let's discuss important points of the cellular respiration. So you understand cellular respiration means cellular respiration. It is called cellular respiration. So exchange of gases is breathing. That is the part of respiration. And breakdown of glucose takes place in the cell. And breakdown of glucose, oxidation of glucose in cell is called cellular respiration. There, along with the oxygen, there are a large number of enzymes which play very important role. And this breakdown is not a single step breakdown. There are many enzymes involved and there are multiple steps of the breakdown of the glucose. Okay, so let's talk about the breakdown of glucose. One more thing we have to remember. Glucose is common raw material of cellular respiration. Like CO2 and CO2 and water. Okay, carbon dioxide and water are the raw material of photosynthesis. Similarly, glucose is the common raw material of the photosynthesis. All of us know this is 6 carbon molecule. This is the most simple sugar. This sugar is supplied to our cells by the process of nutrition, and in our cell this glucose undergo the assimilation to generate the energy. So basically energy is generated in the cell. Okay, so like we can explain it in form of the flow chart. So here we have the glucose, that is 6 carbon molecule, right? So one carbon is attached to another carbon by the covalent bond. So glucose. So first step is called glycolysis. Please remember, glycolysis. Glyco means glucose, lysis means breakdown. So in first step, glucose undergo the breakdown, and this breakdown lead to formation of 2 molecule of 3 carbon pyruvate, or also known as pyruvic acid. So please remember, when 6 carbon molecule is broken down, there is formation of 2 molecules of pyruvate. So you must remember how many molecules of pyruvates are from 2 molecule. This is 3 carbon molecule. Why 3 carbon molecule? Because glucose is 6 carbon molecule. Okay, this glycolysis process is the first step of the cellular respiration. This takes place in cytoplasm. This is also very important. Site of glycolysis is cytoplasm. And one more thing we have to remember, it is a process which is common in aerobic and anaerobic. This is common for aerobic and anaerobic respiration. This step is common. This is very important. This step is common for aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So what we have learned in glycolysis, first step takes place in cytoplasm. 6 carbon glucose break into 3 carbon pyruvate. There are 2 pyruvate molecules are formed. Okay, and this is common step for aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Now this 3 carbon, along with this there is generation of energy. Please remember, along with the pyruvate there is generation of ATP also. Now this pyruvate will undergo the further breakdown. So there are 3 ways, okay, of breakdown of the pyruvate. So let's look into this. How pyruvate undergo the further breakdown to generate large number of ATP. If first condition is when in presence of O2 present, or in presence of O2, in case of, we can say, aerobic respiration, aerobic condition. In case of aerobic condition, this pyruvate molecule, which is 3 carbon molecule, okay, undergo the process that is called Krebs cycle, and this Krebs cycle must be remembered takes place in the mitochondria. This takes place in mitochondria. So please remember, when oxygen is present, eukaryotic cell, and aerobic respiration, pyruvate enter inside the mitochondria. In mitochondria, Krebs cycle takes place. This is also known as citric acid cycle or TCA cycle. This Krebs cycle carry out, and here please remember, this is in presence of oxygen. So there is a complete oxidation of pyruvate. Complete oxidation of pyruvate lead to formation of large number of ATP. Along with there is complete breakdown, so carbons are released carbon dioxide, and there is water molecule. So two key products are there, ATP and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide will be released into atmosphere, and there is a complete breakdown of pyruvate, large amount of energy generated. Second condition, that is in case of absence of O2 in bacteria, or maybe in case of fungi, okay, where we can commonly see the anaerobic respiration. Pyruvate, in absence of oxygen, as I mentioned, will not completely broken down. Okay, this is 3 carbon molecule. Absence of O2 in bacterial cell. In that condition, it will break into a molecule called ethanol. Ethanol, or this is the alcohol which have C2H5OH. So we can say here 2 carbon molecules. So there is no complete breakdown. But here also ATP is generated and carbon dioxide is also generated. So in comparison to this process, generation of energy will be less amount of energy is generated. Okay, this takes place, and this is also commonly known as fermentation. And there are many economic importance of fermentation. Okay, in bakery industry, in beverage industry, to produce ethanol and all. Next, sometime what happen in deficiency, in lack of oxygen in our muscles. When there will be lack of oxygen in our muscle, when we do the vigorous exercise, or when we run, or when even in exam sometime we ride with very high speed, that time we feel cramp. Why there is cramp? Because there is lack of oxygen. So third thing we can write, in muscles, particularly when lack of O2, where less O2 is present, anaerobic respiration starts. So this pyruvate, which is 3 carbon molecule, okay, in our muscles with help of certain enzymes, turn into lactic acid and lactic acid. And please remember, lactic acid is also 3 carbon molecule, and a small amount of energy is generated. Okay, so this is very important note here. 3 carbon molecule turn into another 3 carbon molecule. So there is no generation of O2. This is very important point to note here. There is no generation of O2 because the substrate is 3 carbon and the product is also 3 carbon. The name of acid is very important, lactic acid. This lactic acid accumulate in our muscles and that cause the cramp, that lead to fatigue. And after some time, this lactic acid again convert into the pyruvic acid, and our muscles become normal. This is how the breakdown of glucose takes place inside our cell, and it generates the energy. So that is all about the respiration and cellular respiration. Thank you.